So recently we've all witnessed a huge increase in the price of Bitcoin and other digital assets. If you held these assets in the last year and a half, you have at least 20x the value of your holdings. I think that any rational person looking at this would consider closing the position. In today's video, I want to make the argument that makes sense of these insane valuations. So in the last 2 years, there were people who were coding on their computers, and within 6 months, they became multimillionaires, not to say billionaires. Most people would look at this and use it as an example to show why this is a bubble. So again, I would make in the end the argument that this technology allows something that was not available before. People can interact in a way that was impossible. And therefore, this growth could actually make sense. So let me use an example to solidify this idea. Let's say that we went back to the year 2005. And I gave you 10 kilograms of gold. And your mission is to 20x the value of the gold within 1 year. How would you go about that? You see, in 2005, there are many things that go 20x, okay, in 1 year. It is possible. You can purchase shares in a startup or perhaps buy a stock. You can also leverage. You can use options or futures. You cannot guarantee 20x, and that's not your mission, but you can make it a fair chance, a possibility that this would happen. Now, let's go back further. Let's go back 200 years ago. And now you have the same mission. I give you 10 kilograms of gold and you need to 20x it in 1 year. I think that very fast you would realize that this is mission impossible. You see, 200 years ago, other than the plague, nothing grows at 20x a year. There is nothing that you can purchase and hold for 1 year and it will do 20x. I think that Nettie Rothschild probably 20x'd his money 200 years ago. But that is just to show the point that you would need a war between two world powers in order to have an outcome that would increase your holding 20x. You need a cataclysmic event to happen 200 years ago to change the fortune in such a way. It is a very slow world. Information travels very slowly. Transportation is very slow. And the ability of one person to spread his idea is a very slow process 200 years ago. That means that as someone who wishes to invest, you're very limited. Now, obviously, the point I'm making is if you look at the crypto market and you accept that these are softwares that people within days after the code being written, without lawyers, without central bankers, underwriters, all this within days, millions of people interact with this code. That makes the people who wrote this code millionaires within a day. So if in 2005, people who looked at Mark Zuckerberg as an anomaly, as something, how could it happen within 5 years a person can build an industry, can become a millionaire, all of a sudden this can happen in weeks in the crypto market. And again, why? Because this is simply software that people can download and interact with. Supposedly when people use their money to buy tokens to interact with that code, they build a community. They supposedly will be able to interact between them and exchange value for value without a third party. Again, if you're investing in the crypto market, you need to be very comfortable with the fact that today there are projects that are worth billions and they really have zero value. And everybody knows this to be a fact. What we disagree about is which is which. It is going to be very interesting to see how Gary Gensler and the regulators all around the world are going to deal with this. I mean, the crypto market is a beast that lives outside of the regulatory system. It is what it is. You can read Bitcoin's white paper and it will become very obvious to you that these were intentionally designed not to be controlled. In other words, to be decentralized. And the only way to stop it really is to stop people from interacting with that software or any software, which would make governments much, much bigger than they are today. If you have a politician or a regulator that makes a law that you cannot interact within software, that's a different world than the world we're living in. And I think that the governments will show their true face if they had to deal with this in that manner. So these are exciting times. It's going to be a volatile market. It is very possible that in a week from now, a regulator is going to come and say something that is going to completely change the landscape and the prospects of these digital assets. And at the same token, and no pun intended, it is possible that we're going to discover a new community that gathered around a token or an NFT or a decentralized software that is going to blow our minds. And it is not something we expect. I am sure that because of the crypto market, we are going to see organizations and DAOs that we did not think about before. These are my thoughts about the insane valuations we have in the crypto markets. And till next time.